Hey everyone, it's Doge from Blockchain DXB and today is the 17th of May 2023. Now guys, just few hours ago, Kevin McCarthy did actually tweet that he's definitely willing to go ahead and increase or extend the debt limit, but President Joe Biden is not willing to do that. So there's some drama going on, but eventually guys, what is going to happen is that the US debt ceiling, most likely I would say 99.99%, there is an extremely high chance for it to be increased. And because of that guys, or rather at that point of time when the decision is made, there is a very high possibility that the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will definitely be pumping up. So it looks like politicians and politics do have a very strong say in the trajectory and direction of the global cryptocurrency market. And speaking of which, the European Union did actually give a nod approving the world's first comprehensive crypto rules. I'll definitely go ahead and explore that. Now before anyone posts things on LinkedIn praising the European Union, you truly need to understand what is it that they are doing. And listen guys, this goes back to the basics of Bitcoin. Why was Bitcoin created? Bitcoin was created so that the transactions are peer-to-peer, and the very definition of Bitcoin is it is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Now European Union having comprehensive crypto rules might sound great, but unfortunately I definitely don't like that. And guys, we're also going to be discussing regarding some news regarding economic depression, and one of the gold advocates called Peter Schiff has made his 214th prediction. Now listen guys, I'm a massive fan of Peter Schiff and I do actually like what he says regarding gold, and he definitely bashes Bitcoin all the time. But one of the criticism is he always keeps on saying that we are in an economic depression. Now if you keep on saying that and when that depression happens, you definitely are going to be right, and he has made these predictions several times even before the 2008 crisis. So we'll once again explore what his prediction regarding economic depression is. And he did actually say something really crucial regarding the inflation numbers, and looks like the inflation numbers according to him is heavily manipulated. So some drama going on, but not surprising by Peter Schiff. And guys, regarding meme coins, we have some update regarding Dogecoins. And since 2023 guys, there is massive news about NFTs on Bitcoin blockchain, and we had the hype of ordinals. And recently we also had BRC token, which is kind of similar to ERC20 token, which is working on Ethereum blockchain, but looks like the Doge community is launching a new protocol called as DRC20. So we'll definitely go and look at what that it is. And we are definitely fans of Elon Musk because his word Elon is definitely being used in the DRC20 token. So really interesting concept. And guys, listen, one thing which I've said several times going back to even 2019 and 20 is that Lightning Network, not blockchain, is a narrative that will definitely help humanity. And there is some news regarding Bitcoin Lightning company called River. Essentially, they have raised $35 million. And in my personal opinion, guys, if we were to have Lightning Network, if we were to have Liquid Network, and with the whole hype of BRC20, I don't think so there is absolutely any use of Ethereum or Polygon or maybe even Algorand or Binance BNB chain and quite a lot of other. But nonetheless, these are just my thoughts and opinions. And guys, like we do in every Crypto and Coffee a Day podcast, I'm going to be discussing two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And both the news are to do with an events which I'm conducting on the 2nd of June. And the first event is called as Metaverse, the Hype Reality and New World Order. And essentially, this is a free series. And I tend to do this session every month. And lately, there's this massive drama or a massive question regarding is Metaverse dead? So in the session on the 2nd of June, we'll definitely go into detail and look at what the hype is, what the reality is, and where does the New World Order fit in so far as Metaverse is concerned. And on the 2nd of June, guys, I have another session called a special hour analysis on Bitcoin. Essentially, we break down Bitcoin from a political point of view, from an economical point of view, from a social, technological, legal, environmental, and religious point of view, and hence the term pestle hour analysis. And this session, guys, is completely free of cost. And if you guys do want to sponsor any of these sessions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. So quite a lot to cover in today's episode, so let's get started with it right away. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as you kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee at 8 has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. We'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee at 8. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee at 8, and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Shalhoub Group, a luxury retail and distributor which is headquartered in Dubai, are getting into the NFT game. And here's the deal guys, they are not just getting into the NFT and metaverse space, they are going to be shaping the NFT, metaverse and Web 3.0 space, which I believe is excellent not just for Dubai and UAE, but also for the global cryptocurrency community as well. And guys, Shalhoub Group's Web 3.0 sneaker brand called Soulmates revealed their first NFT collection on the 12th of April. Now what is really interesting is that it's called as Soulmates, so it's spelled as S for sugar, O for orange, L for Larry. Now instead of E, they have replaced it with Web3 and it is the number 3, mates.xyz. And guys listen, Shalhoub Group has over half a century's worth of experience in luxury goods, and them getting into the NFT space is a massive deal. Now if you're a sneakerhead, you definitely need to check out soulmates.xyz. And once again guys, the number is 3 instead of an E. It has all the information, and in the show notes below you'll get all the information. And listen guys, if you want to be an early adopter, you can also pre-mint it at www.premint.xyz/soulmates. So definitely check it out, and they have a Discord community as well. And guys, Nick, who is the head of corporate innovation at Shalhoub Group and also the co-founder of Soulmates, has a WhatsApp group where he constantly provides updates in the area of NFTs, Metaverse and Web 3.0. So guys, check out soulmates.xyz and be part of the Soulmates OG NFT that is definitely going to shape the industry. Next, Startup OI is global one tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs
And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers two hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below.
Now guys, since you've taken care of that, let's go ahead and look at the global cryptocurrency market. As of now, it is at $1.13 trillion. And guys, one thing which I've mentioned recently is that keep a track on Kevin McCarthy's tweet. As in when the US debt ceiling is increased, it just means that the US economy is doing really good, and that will definitely have a very strong impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, since the last 24 hours though, it is down by 1.24%, and the total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is ridiculously lower, down to $28.13 billion. And since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 8.75%. The volume on DeFi, guys, is once again ridiculously low. It is down to $2.16 billion, and the total value locked is well below the $50 billion mark, and it is at $46.79 billion. And Lido is still dominating at 26.53%. And so far as the total value locked is concerned, it is at $12.42 billion. And guys, the scariest matrix is that DeFi is still accounting for less than 10% of the total crypto market volume at 7.68%. Now, in 2020 and 2021, DeFi idly used to account for well over the 12 to 14% range of the total cryptocurrency market volume. Now, what I'm really hoping, guys, is in the second half of this year, DeFi should account for well over 15% to roughly 20% of the total crypto market volume. That would mean that DeFi is definitely making a move in the cryptocurrency world, and also a massive impact on the financial sector as well. Will that thing happen? I'm definitely hoping for. Now guys, let's quickly look at the 24-hour volume of DeFi protocols. Uniswap is number one as of today, and the volume is $807.76 million. And yesterday, guys, PancakeSwap was at number one, but right now it is at number two, and $552.87 million is the 24-hour trading volume. Core Finance is number third at $99.6 million. Look at the difference, guys, between the second and the third one. It's absolutely humongous. The fourth one is Doge at $95.66 million, followed by Meta TDEX at $40.45 million. It is absolutely no surprise that there are two leaders in the DeFi volume. One is Uniswap and PancakeSwap, and looks like PancakeSwap is heavily working on Binance BNB chain. But once again, guys, if you look at the volume of Binance BNB chain, the Binance BNB market cap, and the 24-hour trading volume of Binance BUSD, it does raise a massive question mark. Now, the volume on stablecoins is ridiculously low at $25.65 billion. And apart from that, guys, the scariest matrix is, despite it being low, they still account for 91.18% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Absolutely horrendous. And out of this $25.65 billion, Tether is still accounting for $19.77 billion. So look at this, guys, the total cryptocurrency market volume. This includes over 24,000 different types of cryptocurrencies. Is $28.13 billion. And out of that, Tether USDT accounts for $19.77 billion. So imagine what would happen if Tether USDT were to go belly up. It's going to be absolutely catastrophic. Now, Circle USDC's 24-hour volume is $2.73 billion, and Binance BUSD's volume is $1.72 billion. Now, if you were to compare that with its market cap, Tether USDT's market cap is $82.83 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume is roughly around 1/4 of its market cap. Circle USDC's market cap is $29.86 billion. But listen to this, guys. Binance BUSD's market cap is down to $5.56 billion. To be honest guys, I wasn't expecting Binance BUSD's market cap to go down below the $6 billion mark, but looks like it just might go below the $5 billion mark as well. Now just to give you some perspective, a little over 2 months ago, the market cap of Binance BUSD was hovering somewhere between the $13 mark, and it was on the verge of actually crossing the $14 billion mark. So it looks like over 60% of Binance BUSD's market cap has completely gone away, and this is because of legal jurisdiction that SEC is trying to impose on Binance BUSD, which I personally agree to, but looks like, unfortunately for Binance BUSD, it is not looking good. Even the 24-hour trading volume has miserably gone down to 1.72%, and this begs this question guys. Despite so much of drama going on Binance BUSD, the price of Binance BNB is relatively stable, and if you look at the 24-hour volume of the decentralized apps actually working on Binance BNB, it is not ideal. And even if you were to compare the DeFi protocols that are currently working on Binance BNB, the number just doesn't add up, and I'm really surprised that the price of Binance BNB has been relatively constant, particularly in 2023. So it's going to be really interesting to see, and I'm hoping we don't find out some notorious activity in the world of Binance BNB. Imagine guys, if two things were to collapse, that is Tether USDT and Binance BNB, I wouldn't be surprised that would be towards the end of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But once again guys, I'm hoping I'm 100% wrong on this. Now let's quickly look at the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now Bitcoin's market cap is $522 billion, whereas Ethereum is $218 billion. The 24-hour trading volume of Ethereum is well less than 50% of that of Bitcoin's 24-hour trading volume. It is at $5.56 billion, whereas Ethereum is $12.83 billion. The dominance guys of Bitcoin is 46.50%, which is definitely great, whereas Ethereum is 19.50%. Now guys, let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. Unfortunately, the prices of Bitcoin has gone down well below the $27,000 mark, and it is currently at $26,935. And one thing which I mentioned several times in my podcast, guys, keep a track on Kevin McCarthy's tweet. Now, since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.69%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 2.87%. Now, Ethereum is currently at $1,817, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 0.60%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 2.26%. Binance BNB coin, guys, as I mentioned earlier, the price is relatively stable at $311. Since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.24%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 0.88%. Now think of it, guys. What would happen if, let's say, for a very wild circumstance, Joe Biden does actually go out and buy a lot of Bitcoins and puts it as a reserve? There's only positive things for the US economy. The US debt ceiling could be managed much better. The price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies will absolutely pump up to the moon. And what's more importantly going to happen is other countries such as UK, maybe even the UAE will start doing that. Now what kind of an impact will it have on the US debt ceiling? I definitely do think so. It's going to be absolutely positive because now they also have Bitcoin as a reserve. Now will the left-leaning administration do that? Definitely not. Now guys, let's discuss some massive news regarding the European Union. So what happened is that earlier today, the European Union state did actually approve the world's first comprehensive set of crypto rules, and the new tax transparency rules will help member states shine a light on the crypto asset sector. Now what I'd recommend you to do is, guys, on the official website, they just have a one-page document explaining and giving the reasoning and also the quotes as to why this rule has been approved. So what I'd really recommend you to do is, rather than listening to cryptocurrency influencers or LinkedIn posts which absolutely have no meaning, read through the official link, and the European Union states did actually give the final nod to the world's first comprehensive set of rules to regulate crypto assets, and what they're expecting is the other countries to follow the same rules as well. Now this, guys, is definitely not ideal, and they're piling pressure on countries such as Britain and United States to play and catch up. Now one thing, guys, what's really important to note is that they agreed on a requirement that from January 2026, service providers obtain the name of senders and beneficiaries in crypto assets, regardless of the amount being transferred. And this, guys, is going to add a lot of work particularly for centralized cryptocurrency exchanges. So from a centralized cryptocurrency exchange point of view, this would mean a lot more KYC, a lot of documents. So let me try to break down what that one-page document essentially is. The European Commission has recently reached a political agreement on tax transparency rules for service providers involved in crypto asset transactions, and these rules, guys, are designed to address the challenges faced by tax authorities in monitoring and collecting taxes on crypto assets, which can be easily traded across borders, and the lack of information on crypto asset transactions has been a significant hurdle for tax authorities, leading to a loss of tax revenues. Now, the new rule aims to enhance member states' ability to detect and combat tax fraud, tax evasion, and tax avoidance related to crypto assets. Now, under the new rules, all crypto asset service providers based in the European Union, regardless of their size, will be required to report transactions made by customers residing in the European Union, and this reporting requirement applies to a wide range of crypto assets and aims to ensure tax authorities have the necessary information to assess and collect taxes on these transactions. Moreover, guys, the scope of the directive has been expanded to include reporting obligations for financial institutions handling e-money and central bank digital currencies as well, and this expansion reflects the growing importance of these digital financial instruments and the need for transparency in their usage for taxation purposes. Now, the new reporting requirements for crypto assets, that is e-money and CBDCs, are set to take effect from the 1st of January 2026. However, guys, the final adoption of these rules will depend on the consultative opinion of the European Parliament. Now, overall, what they've mentioned in this document, and you need to understand that this is clearly put up by the European Union, is that these tax transparency rules seek to create a fair and effective taxation framework for the crypto asset sector. Now, is it fair from their end? Most likely, yes. Is it fair, let's say, from a service providers? I really am not sure. And what about the people actually using it? But nonetheless, what they say is that by ensuring that taxes are properly paid and combating tax-related abuses, the rule aims to secure revenues from public investment and services while fostering an environment where innovation can thrive. Now, in the document, guys, they also have two quotes, so I'd really recommend you to read through it because there are two quotes. One is from Valdis Dombrovski, who's the Executive Vice President for an economy that works for people, and the second one, guys, is from Paolo Gentiloni, who's the Commissioner of Economy, so definitely read through it. Now, guys, let's discuss Peter Schiff's prediction regarding the economy. Now, look, guys, I'm a massive fan of Peter Schiff. I would definitely recommend you to listen to his podcast. Now, granted, he's a massive advocate of gold, and he often bashes Bitcoin, but nonetheless, that the point that he makes is absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love his podcast, despite what he says about Bitcoin, all the points that he makes, and along with him what Dr. Nawal Rabuni says, I 100% agree to it. But nonetheless, one of the drawbacks about Peter Schiff is he often keeps on bashing the world economy, and he often makes predictions that the economy is going to be 10 times worse. Now, he has made another prediction, and looks like his 214 prediction might turn out to be right, and he has actually warned about a new incoming depression crisis, and he's also heavily criticized misleading inflation numbers. Now, what he's saying is that the real inflation numbers should be currently closer to roughly around 10%. Now, I'm really not sure where he's making up this information, but his main reasoning being the left-leaning administration will be raising the debt ceiling once again, which is currently in the works right now. Now, Peter Schiff has also criticized the way how CPI numbers data is being used to determine inflation and is calculated. Now, according to him, he's saying that it is designed to give a low result. Now, I kind of agree to him, but unfortunately, I'm not an economist. Now, if you are someone who's an economist, what I'd really recommend you to do is go to the BLS.gov website, that is the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, because that is the only piece of information that you need to look at so far as the inflation is concerned. Now, one thing you need to note is that Peter Schiff has further went on to say that you're basically having to double the official numbers to get a better idea of what's actually happening with prices, and he's actually indicating that the number should be closer to 10%. Listen, guys, I absolutely like Peter Schiff, but one of the biggest drawbacks about Peter Schiff is every month, every year, he keeps saying the same thing. And if he keeps saying the same thing, that the economy is going to have one of the worst financial crises, when it does actually happen, he's going to take credit for it. So his marketing idea is keep bashing the economy, and when it does actually happen, what he's going to do is he's going to cherry pick the clip that we actually mentioned and post it on social media. Brilliant marketing strategy. but I personally think it's stupid. Now guys, let's discuss some news regarding Dogecoin. And looks like Dogecoin DRC20 token is definitely making its play. And Dailycoin did actually state that NFTs inscribed onto Dogecoin are becoming a reality with the recent DRC20 protocol launch. And as the name suggests guys, the technical setup mimics DRC20 token, the Bitcoin Ordinals NFT protocol that was a huge success in the NFT community in the beginning of this year. Now the article does actually mentions that like ordinal punks on Bitcoin shrooms, these inscriptions are usually used as a digital artifacts inscribed onto Dogecoins. These Dogecoin NFTs dramatically spiked the transaction activity, recording 650,000 transactions. Unfortunately, it has not made an impact so far as the price of Dogecoin is concerned. Now what I really liked in the article via Dogecoin is they are given a very short summary, essentially 3 points. So I'm just going to read it out verbatim. Now what they mentioned in that article is that the DRC20 protocol inscribes parts of digital artifacts onto Elons. I'm pretty much sure this is more to do with Elon Musk. And Elon, guys, is Dogecoin's replica of the Satoshi particle for BRC20. So it looks like for Bitcoin Satoshis, how we have Satoshis, for Dogecoin's DRC20 token, we are going to have the smallest unit called as Elon, a massive appreciation and kind of like a jab to Elon Musk. Now unfortunately, because of this news, the activity has definitely increased, but the prices have definitely remained the same. So what are your thoughts guys? What do you think of the DRC20 token? Mention them in the comments below. Now guys, let's talk about some news regarding Lightning Network. Now one thing guys which I've mentioned several times is Lightning Network, not blockchain, is a narrative that is slowly building up pace, not just in the Bitcoin community, but also along the cryptocurrency community as well. And what happened recently is that the Bitcoin Lightning company called River has raised $35 million amid a new wave of institutional adoption. And Alexander Leishman, who's the CEO and Chief Technology Officer of River, actually said that we are seeing another wave of Bitcoin interest, largely driven by business and institutional adoption, and it is not fueled by hype. And because of this, they have raised $35 million. Now, could it be possible that in the near future, maybe in the next coming years, we're going to see a lot of news regarding Lightning Network? I would definitely like that. Now, it's important to note, guys, that River was an early adopter of the Lightning Network, similar to global cryptocurrency exchanges like Bitfinex and Kraken as well. So Lightning Network, not blockchain technology, is a narrative that is definitely in play. Now guys, let's discuss two news regarding Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And the first event is actually taking place on the 2nd of June 2023, called as the Metaverse, the Hyperreality and New World Order. And guys, this Metaverse event takes place on the 2nd of June from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time. And guys, I tend to do this session every month, and the goal is to educate the people on Metaverse. Now there is so much of hype surrounding Metaverse. Ever since Facebook changed its name from Facebook to Meta, I saw people becoming experts in LinkedIn overnight. So I'm going to be discussing what the hype surrounding Metaverse is, understanding Metaverse and its impact, the institutions and companies joining on board, and we'll also go and explore reality versus expectation, and the hardware and software limitations and real life use case. And look guys, right now we are in the worst geopolitical chaos, and so far as Metaverse is concerned and the New World Order is concerned, will the USA have a competitive edge, or will it be Saudi Arabia, or will it be the United Arab Emirates? So I'll go ahead and explain and give my thoughts and opinions on that, and what are the steps a country can do in order to be an early adopter. So essentially guys, this session is broken down into 3 parts, that is part A, Part B and Part C. In Part A, we'll look at the history of Metaverse, what is the Metaverse, the hype surrounding Metaverse, the hardware and software challenges in the Metaverse. In Part B, guys, we're going to be looking at areas where Metaverse merges with physical world, and I'm going to be discussing the numerous news and events taking place surrounding Metaverse in Dubai, and I'm going to be focusing on areas where blockchain merges with Metaverse, and do we actually need blockchain in the Metaverse? Now look guys, I'm a massive advocate of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchain. Unfortunately, when you talk about Metaverse, I don't think that blockchain protocols will be an ideal fit in the Metaverse, but nonetheless, I'll go ahead and discuss some of the blockchain protocols or blockchain platforms in the Metaverse. We'll also discuss the top Metaverse platforms. We'll discuss the limitations of blockchain, and it's so critical guys, when you talk about blockchain, you truly understand what the blockchain trilemma problem is and how that fits and how it's manipulated in the Metaverse. We'll also discuss NFT in the Metaverse and artificial intelligence, which has had so much of hype lately. We had ChatGPT, we have GPT-4, and we have AutoGPT. So we'll go and discuss how that thing would merge
with the metaverse. And finally, guys, in part C, we'll look at Dubai metaverse strategy. And guys, I have a standalone episode discussing Dubai metaverse strategy, so please feel free to check it out. We'll also look at the legal governing body, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, and what role do they play in Dubai metaverse strategy. And guys, one of the visions of Sheikh Hamdan is for Dubai to be the top 10 city in the world so far as metaverse is concerned. And last year, guys, Dubai also had Dubai Metaverse Assembly at an iconic museum of the future. As a matter of fact, guys, I have an interview with Richard Bartle, who was the sole person responsible for arranging that event, so please feel free to check it out. And I'm also going to be discussing the different networking events that you can have and quite a lot more. The session is completely free, of course, and you can find the registration link in the show notes below. Alternatively, guys, go to eventbrite.com and just search for Blockchain DXB or drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. And listen, guys, if you do want to sponsor the event, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com, because I'm definitely looking for sponsors, and what I can do is I can mention your name at the beginning of the session, and even in the slides. I'll be more than happy to put across your company's details and what are the different services that you have. So if you do want to sponsor these sessions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. And guys, the second event that is taking place is called a Special Hour Analysis on Bitcoin on the 2nd of June, and this, guys, takes place between 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time. And one thing which I did mention earlier, Special Hour is an acronym which stands for political, economical, social, technological, legal, environmental, religious analysis on Bitcoin. And to be honest, guys, Special Hour analysis can be done for any industry as well, and it is a great tool used to gain a macro level picture of an industry, and it allows a company or an industry to form an impression of the factors that might impact a new business or an industry. So in this session on the 2nd of June at 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time, we break down elements of Bitcoin at a macro level to better understand its impact, and we discuss each area in detail to get a much better understanding of Bitcoin. So when you talk about politics, guys, I always ask this question: is Bitcoin apolitical? Now listen, guys, Bitcoin was created as a movement to a separation of money and the state, but politics and politicians do have a very strong say so far as Bitcoin is concerned, and I'll go ahead and explore what right-wing or Republicans think of Bitcoin and what left-leaning ideologies and left-leaning politicians think of Bitcoin. And UK, we'll go ahead and discuss what is it that the conservative thinks of Bitcoin and what is it that the Labour Party thinks of Bitcoin. So we'll definitely go ahead and discuss how does politics impact Bitcoin. And the second part is economical. Now listen, guys, Bitcoin is created as the biggest global wealth redistribution, and can Bitcoin actually change the dynamics of money, the very nature of it being fixed and the demand keeps fluctuating? We'll go ahead and discuss what kind of impact does it have and what role does it play in inflation, exchange rates, and quite a lot of other. And the third factor is social, and we'll go ahead and discuss the social impact of Bitcoin and blockchain for generations to come. We'll go ahead and discuss what kind of an impact Bitcoin has had in first world countries and underdeveloped countries. And guys, one thing which I'm really surprised a lot of them underestimate and think that it is the millennials who are the ones who acquire a lot of Bitcoin. So we'll go ahead and ask this question: are millennials or boomers or late boomers are the ones who have acquired a lot of Bitcoin? And to be honest, guys, the numbers will be surprising. And regarding technological factors are concerned, we'll go ahead and discuss the user experience of Bitcoin. We'll go ahead and discuss the different forks of Bitcoin. And guys, few years ago, there was a massive update that did actually take place in Bitcoin, and you had Taproot and Snort Signature. And because of that, guys, we are able to do NFTs in Bitcoin blockchain, and that was one of the biggest hypes heading into 2023. It did pick up a lot of momentum, not just in the NFT space, but also in Bitcoin blockchain as well. So we'll go ahead and discuss the technological factors. We'll look at economies of scale for setting up mining operations and quite a lot of other. Now regarding legal factors are concerned, guys, we will look at: is Bitcoin legal? Where does governance, regulations, and legislations fit in? And what is it that governments can do to support innovation and Bitcoin? And we'll also very briefly explore: was El Salvador's decision to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender was a good move, or was it a terrible move? And what kind of impact did IMF have on that? And guys, regarding environmental factors are concerned, we will look at Bitcoin mining energy consumption and this massive hype of ESG, which is driven by left-leaning ideologies, and Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock. And we'll also go ahead and look at past, the current, and the future state of environmental impact on Bitcoin. And finally, guys, regarding religious factors, we'll ask this very basic question: is Bitcoin Sharia compliant? And what are the religious factors and commonality in Bitcoin? and how is Bitcoin seen in the Middle East, keeping in mind the religious factors. And guys, what I'd really recommend you to do is Dr. Saifuddin Amos. He has a couple of episodes explaining the commonalities between religion and Bitcoin, so definitely feel free to check it out. Loads of useful information on that. And guys, the session is completely free of cost, and if you do want to sign up for it, go to eventbrite.com and search for blockchaindxb.com or drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. And once again guys, if you do want to sponsor this event, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com and I'll mention your company's details in each of the slides, and also maybe have a video explaining your products, probably at the beginning of the session, maybe towards the break time and towards the end of the session as well. So sign up for these sessions. The link for registration is in the show notes below. So that's all for today guys on the Crypto and Coffee Date from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes, it's going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's Doge from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. I have a question by Rajesh who asks, can the SEC go after Bitfinex Tether USDT? Now really I'm not sure, Rajesh, what the legal jurisdiction is. Now one of the biggest brilliant moves that Bitfinex has actually done is that they have set up the company or the organization far away from the United States of America, and they are registered in British Virgin Islands. So really I'm not sure if the SEC does have any legal jurisdiction to go after them. But one thing you need to understand, Rajesh, is that if the SEC or the US government wants to go after any person anywhere in the world, they can directly do that, or they can indirectly go after them. Now could it be possible that Bitfinex's Tether USDT has actually hired some of the former members of SEC? I definitely do recollect some of the news, but I cannot say that with certainty. So could it be possible that the SEC can go after Bitfinex directly and indirectly if they want to? I definitely do think so. Now Rajesh, I was listening to a podcast maybe over a year ago, and in that podcast they were actually saying that if any company in any part of the world, if they're directly or indirectly are connected to the US dollar, the SEC can technically and legally go after them. But to be honest, there needs to be a lot of legal jurisdiction that needs to be played here. So I really cannot give you an answer with 100% certainty. But look, if you look at the notorious history of the left-leaning administration, and if they do actually want to go after Bitfinex instead of USDT, I personally think that they 100% can. And one thing which I did mention, Rajesh, earlier is that if they were to do that, the impact will be absolutely catastrophic. And one of my favorite former YouTube podcasters of all time is Ivan on Tech, and I very specifically remember when SEC started going after exchanges that were kind of out of US, that, for instance, Binance. He did actually mention what would happen if the SEC were to actually go after Bitfinex instead of USDT. The impact will be absolutely catastrophic. What I'd really recommend you to do is, Rajesh, look at if the USDT has hired some of the former employees and some of the former staff of SEC. Most likely, they definitely would have done that. Because listen, I'm not a fan of Tether USDT, and they're notoriously known for doing some activities which are extremely shady. So most likely, they might have hired a former SEC head or former staff from the SEC. So those were my thoughts. So that was it, guys, on the Ask Me Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case you have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and guys, also check out my website area2071.com that talks everything about metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And have a series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well. News that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world.
The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Everything series where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening guys and have a nice one. Bye-bye.